This is Fun 1071, and we're joined by a very special guest today from Battlezone Promotions. It's John Battles, the owner himself, and he's got a new social media experiment called 1 Million Acts of Kindness that you're just starting. John, tell us a little bit about that. What is the whole premise of 1 Million Acts of Kindness?
Well, what it actually came from is I have actually been fortunate enough to semi-retire in March, and I was pretty much pondering, what am I going to do with my free time?
Yeah.
And there was a series of events that sort of led me to sort of what am I going to promote with my promotions company? I thought that I would promote acts of kindness because, I mean, isn't that what the world really needs right now?
Yeah, I would say so. And you got your new website. It's called areyoudoingaok.com, and AOK means acts of kindness.
Exactly.
And I love this. Yeah, so you're inviting the community to kind of go in there and share any acts of kindness. Maybe it's paying for somebody's food in line. Maybe it's a pay it forward thing, putting some money in somebody's gas tank.
Exactly. Yeah, and actually what we're trying to do is just to put acts of kindness. I think everybody in their own heart want to be nice. Like you just mentioned, if somebody in front of you bought your coffee and all that, what's the first thing you usually say? Oh, that's nice. People ought to do that more often.
Absolutely.
So I was thinking, how can we get people to do that more often? So, you know, being a retired computer programmer, I was all about process, algorithms and step-by-step how to do it. So I sort of applied that approach. How can I use technology to put, hey, go out and be cool to people in the forefront of their thoughts? Because we're bombarded every day with negative news, negative stories. I mean, that's all we hear if we turn on the TV or read newspapers and such. But I wanted to have a place that people could go to. And actually what it does, if you see somebody being nice, or if you go and be nice yourself, you go to areyoudoingaok.com, and you'll notice when you log onto that site, the very top of it is a count up clock, which is what we're using to count up to 1 million. I just recognized or saw an act of kindness. Let me log it towards that million. And what we're encouraging people to do, if you see something or do something, go log into that website, and at the very top it says, tell me your story. And you simply tell your story, click on the button, enter your name and email address. Email address we use just to let you know your submission was submitted. And you tell, hey, I came home from work today and I noticed that the neighbor kids brought my trash cans up from the curb. Just a simple act of kindness.
Yeah, small things.
Sure. And they log that, and when you hit submit, the clock up counter increments by 1. And you can actually log more than one. Say, for instance, we had a scout from Troy, Ohio. She got all of her friends together, and they went somewhere around Troy, and they got together and cleaned 34 retired service people's grave sites.
Wow.
So they, of course, went in and they recorded 34 acts of kindness. Because each of those gravesite cleanings was an individual act.
Oh, absolutely.
The counter went up by 34, and, I commend them for doing that.
Well, I love that. It's a very altruistic program that you've got started here. And I like that you're pushing for, positivity on social media, because like we were just talking about, social media can be such a breeding ground for toxicity, doom and gloom. It's almost stigmatic. So bringing attention to something like this is great. Yeah.
One of the things that we're running into early on is people are sort of hesitant to go on there and, hey, look what I did. But we want to counter that with, hey, I understand a lot of people don't want to blow their horn, but don't think of it like that.
Right.
Think of that as putting an act of kindness out there. And if somebody else reads that, that might inspire them to do the same or something else in that vein.
Exactly. That's what I see it as. Kind of like a motivational, inspirational call to action.
Right. And you don't have to acknowledge yourself. You can go out and say, I did this hoping to inspire. As I always like to say, we hope that you aspire to inspire. Cool.
I like that. Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We're hoping that when they go out and do that, that it counts up and we get to 1 million quick.
You've already hit the ground running, and I love to see that. And we can follow you on Facebook at Doing AOK, right?
Actually, if you go to the website, areyoudoingaok.com, at the bottom of the site is our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Awesome.
And I'm not sure what else is on there. That's our marketing team, Now Marketing. Shout out to Jessica. And they're handling all that. And we actually have some videos and all that. So.
I noticed that you started doing a video series. I saw a little bit of that this morning. I love that. In the beginning, you call this a social experiment, John. So at the end of this, what are you hoping to get? What are you hoping to gain? What are you hoping to see?
What I'm hoping to see is what I'm already seeing. Everybody who I talk to says, man, that's a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
More people ought to do things like that. So that's what I want to do, is have people thinking more people ought to do things like that, starting with yourself. Get out there and do something.
Kindness is infectious.
Kindness is infectious.
That's
and
a
I
great
hope
way.
that this is a techno nudge to keep that in the front of your mind.
Well, I love that. John Battles here today from Battles Zone Promotions with Doing AOK. Please follow them on Facebook and on their website, doingaok.com.
And speaking of merch, T-shirts coming up. We're hoping to go with a phrase that I think sums it up, and that is to chill out and do good stuff.
I like that. I saw that hashtag on your Facebook page. I think that's fitting.
That's going to be a popular T-shirt, I hope so.
Thanks a lot, John, for coming in this morning. I appreciate it.